Picture this. You're right in the middle of cooking dinner. The prep is completely done, the timing is perfect, everything is going incredibly well, and then, beep. Your induction cooktop just shuts down mid-meal, and some cryptic little code starts flashing on that sleek glass screen. It's acutely frustrating, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to decode exactly what those mysterious messages mean. Think of this as your ultimate translation guide to getting your kitchen back up and running.
I mean, let's just validate that immediate frustration right out of the gate. When that little digital code starts flashing, it literally feels like the machine just locked you out of your own dinner plans. But hey, take a deep breath. We're going to triage these errors really quickly today and see if we can actually save that meal. Because honestly, the fix is usually way simpler than you might think.
Part 1. The secret cooktop language, or why your stove is suddenly speaking in tongues.
To actually fix the problem, we first have to understand the complication here. Induction cooktops are absolutely brilliant, super smart pieces of tech. But because they're so smart, they communicate using highly specific internal self-diagnostics. And here's the catch. They speak in totally brand-specific dialects. There is literally no universal industry standard for what these codes mean. Just to show you how wild this gets, if you see an E2 code on some Electrolux models, it's just telling you, hey, there's a fault with the LED lighting, but if you have a Thermador and see that exact same E2, that means a temperature sensor in the cooking zone has completely failed. Got a Fisher and Paykel? That's an overheating warning. A Duxtop? High voltage alert. And this brilliantly illustrates the absurdity of relying on generic internet lists. It is an absolute recipe for disaster. You really have to know the specific language your brand is speaking.
But look, despite the sheer chaos of all these different brand dialects, the faults themselves generally fall into a few consistent buckets that we can actually triage. It's like a giant puzzle with a hidden logic. Most manufacturers use some variation of this basic setup. The E0 or F0 family, that usually deals with pan detection. The E1 or E2 family is all about heat and thermal protection. And then as those numbers get higher, like E3, E4, and beyond, we start stepping into power, voltage, and internal board issues. Once we understand these families, we know exactly what our next move should be.
Moving right along to Part 2. Triage Level 1. The pan, aka the fussy eater.
Okay, let's dive into this first bucket. If you're getting an E0, an F0, or sometimes just a flashing dash symbol, your cooktop is basically acting like a really fussy eater. It is actively demanding a very specific type of pot, and until it gets it, no dice. It just refuses to work. Now, this is the most common error, and thankfully it's the absolute easiest to fix. To get why this happens, just remember how this tech works. Induction doesn't use a hot flame or a glowing electric coil. It actually uses electromagnets tucked right under the glass. For the whole system to wake up, the pan itself has to be ferromagnetic, meaning it must respond to a magnetic field. If you plop a copper, aluminum, or non-magnetic stainless steel pan down on that zone, the cooktop doesn't feel any magnetic load. So it assumes nothing's there, throws an error code, and just shuts down to save power.
So what's the fix? Well, it's the ultimate, incredibly easy DIY trick known as the magnet test. Step 1, just go over to your fridge and grab any standard magnet. Step 2, touch it to the very bottom base of your pan, and I mean the actual base that touches the glass, not the sides. Step 3, if that magnet sticks firmly, you are golden. That pan is totally induction compatible. But if it falls off or just weakly slides down, well, you've just found the exact cause of your E0 error.
Now, what's kind of wild is that the metal itself isn't the only rule. Size and shape matter immensely here. Your pan's base has to be totally flat so it can maintain solid contact with the sensors. The diameter usually needs to sit somewhere between 12 and 26 centimeters, and crucially, it has to cover enough of the cooking zone. Some brands like Smeg, for example, are notoriously fussy about this. If you put a tiny, perfectly magnetic milk pan on a massive cooking zone and it doesn't cover at least 60% of that circle, the machine is going to throw an E0 code and completely refuse to heat.
Next up, Section 3, Triage Level 2, Heat. Let's cool the drama.
Let's see how this builds into our next bucket. So, if you pass the pan test, but you're now seeing codes like E1, E2, or maybe an F2, your cooktop is likely throwing a bit of a thermal tantrum. But here's the good news. When it shuts down because of temperature, it's actually doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's protecting its own internal electronics from literally frying. So, what triggers this self-preservation mode? Well, here are the usual suspects. First off, leaving an empty pan on high heat until it boils absolutely dry. That will trigger an instant shutdown, for sure. Second, and this is super common, blocked ventilation. Built-in hobs need to pull in cooling air from under your counter. If you have a drawer right underneath stuffed full of kitchen towels or cookbooks blocking those crucial vents, the electronics are going to overheat fast. Also, ambient heat from a wall oven running directly below it can trigger this, or even a blocked internal cooling fan that's just struggling to spin. Whenever you get a thermal error, your immediate action plan comes down to one magic number: 30. Step away from the cooktop, turn it off, get those hot pans off the glass, and give the machine a full 30 minutes to completely cool down. Take a second to clear out any obstructions underneath it, too. Do not try to bypass the code or rapidly turn it back on. Seriously, just give it 30 minutes of absolute peace.
Which brings us to part 4, the safe power cycle. Basically, the ultimate IT fix.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. What if that 30-minute cooldown just didn't work? Or what if you're seeing a really weird code like C1, U400, or some communication error between the panels? Well, much like your laptop or your smartphone, your induction cooktop is run by a highly complex internal control board. And sometimes that digital brain just needs to be totally cleared out of transient faults. You really need to follow these exact steps for a safe power cycle. Step 1. Turn off the power at the wall switch, or better yet, head to your home circuit breaker and flip it off entirely. Listen, just pressing the power button on that sleek glass panel, that does not actually cut power to the main control board. Step 2. Wait 2 to 5 minutes. You've got to give the residual charge and the capacitors time to fully dissipate. Finally, Step 3. Restore the power. The cooktop is going to run through its startup sequence. If the code is gone and stays gone when you start cooking again, it was just a temporary digital glitch. Dinner is saved.
And finally, Section 5. When to call a pro. Establishing the boundaries of DIY.
Now, we really need to shift gears into something much more serious. If that power cycle didn't work, or if you're suddenly seeing high-level codes like E5, E6, or persistent sensor faults, we are crossing a hard line into the strict boundaries of DIY appliance repair. I want you to hear this quote directly from Bosch's official service documentation. They state, "Capacitors and induction hob filter boards can remain charged indefinitely. Engineers must discharge them with measurement tools before handling internal boards." I really want to let that sink in for a second. Even after you totally unplug this machine from the wall, the internal high-voltage capacitors hold a charge that is capable of delivering a lethal electric shock. This is invisible, highly dangerous energy, guys. You absolutely cannot safely open these appliances at home.
Furthermore, if you encounter any of these critical red flags, your DIY troubleshooting journey ends right here, immediately. I'm talking about burning electrical smells, visible sparks or arcing coming from under the glass, a physically discolored glass surface, if the cooktop is repeatedly tripping your home circuit breaker every single time you turn it on, or if it's throwing those persistent E7, E8, or E9 codes. Those generally point to catastrophic, major failures in the main power board or the induction inverter modules themselves. If you see literally any of those signs, or if an internal fault code just refuses to clear after a hard reset, the message is stark and simple. Stop. Call a professional. Please do not try to pry the glass up. Do not try to check the wiring yourself. These units deal with incredibly high frequencies and high voltages. They absolutely require a qualified, brand-certified appliance engineer who has the specialized tools to safely discharge the machine before they even think about working on it. Which really leaves us with this final, vital question to think about. Is saving a quick service fee truly worth the risk of a high-voltage shock or potentially ruining your entire kitchen's electrical circuit? Induction cooking is phenomenally fast, safe, and wildly efficient when it's working exactly as it should. But you have to respect the appliance's boundaries. When that secret language starts flashing on the screen, by all means, check your manual, check your pans, check your ventilation, and definitely try a safe power cycle. But the moment those digits spell out internal danger, step back and let the pros take over. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, stay safe in the kitchen.